Michael Phoenix, founder of Valley and Beyond. I just want to do a quick article on a new cafe that opened up recently. They had the grand opening on Saturday, February 15th, 2014, and they're over in Phillipsburg, New Jersey, right on Route 22. Okay, but they're a little bit beyond the main section of Phillipsburg. Received an invite to this one, and despite the snow and sleet storm that we had on Saturday, I went out there, took the bus from Allentown to Easton, and basically walked the rest of the way. 2.5 mile hike. It was fun and interesting. Of all the crazy things I've done for the magazine so far, this one topped it. But this was something where I rarely get over to Phillipsburg, just because of everything going on in the area. But I couldn't resist this one. So honestly, what I was expecting was to walk into your typical coffee shop. Well, I could not have been more off base on this one. And by the way, this is part one. I'm going to split this up into two parts. Right off, I'm like, as I was walking through Phillipsburg, and then Route 22, I was like, okay. As I got close to this place, I saw a tree farm, and all of a sudden, I'm like, I see this small cluster of buildings, and it's like, okay, check Google Maps. I'm like, where is this place? Well, guess what? Cafe 22 is actually inside a small flea market. Literally, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's on the actual outskirts of the town of Phillipsburg. So if you're on 22, as your GPS or Google Maps, you're going to want to slow down to get to this place, because you can blow right by it like that. If you're going eastbound, the first thing you will see is literally, it's right in front of a huge tree farm, Christmas tree farm. If you're coming westbound, you're going to go up over a slight hill, and it's literally right there. So it's not hard to find the cluster buildings, but you can, like I said, you can blow right by it like that, especially doing about 50 miles an hour the speed limit. Now, even as I walked, even as I walked there, walked onto the property, I was like, okay, where is this place at? Well, you kind of have to watch for the signs. You kind of have to, actually, there is a sign for it. There's one for Aunt Lee's Auction. That's the building it's in. That is where it's at. Now, when I walked in, I was like, okay, where's this cafe at? Like I said, I was surprised. It's basically in a small flea market, which I was not expecting. Spent almost all my time in the cities. This was a great change of pace for me. And when you walk in, the first thing you will see is a counter with food and coffee and beverages available. That is Cafe 22. So, and the rest of it is the flea market part, pretty much. But here's the nice advantage to it. I'm not really one of a flea market type person. Like I said, I'm 100% city type person. But it was worth the it was worth going to. It was worth experiencing. It's just the typical something that the cafe and the flea market are something that's starting to become really lost in today's world, where it's just a break from everything walking in there. It's almost like literally walking back in time to a point 50, 75 years ago, where everything kind of, and farther back, where everything kind of, this was an essential part of our society, and what people would do on a weekend is go to places like this. So, the overall atmosphere, like I said, I was shocked. I was expecting your typical modern coffee shop type place, and I walked in, I was like, this is really cool. Honestly, I loved it. I loved it. Now, Mary Pierce was there, and also Wendy Smale, who's an artist and an author, were there. And honestly, it's the main reason why I showed up. Okay, especially in the middle of a snowstorm. But it was a really cool experience. So, figure part one, I just wanted to cover the location of it and give you try to give you a generalized feel for it. Check the video. I do, video and photos to get a really good idea of what it's like there. But part two we'll get into more detail, what I saw of their menu, the overall experience itself, and what more details on what you can expect. So thanks for checking out the article. Thanks for supporting the magazine. And I checked, they do not have a website, but make sure you check out their Facebook. Look them up on Facebook, Cafe on 22. It's actually facebook.com, Cafe on 22. Make sure you check it out. The photos are there, and you can find out more information. Part two, like I said, we'll get into more detail about the cafe and the overall experience and wrap it up. Thank you.